So you can't just sit back and absolutely do nothing and expect your business to change.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Growth Media Marketing Channel. Today, we're going to talk about the top 10 strategies for marketing your business on a budget. So let's break it down, Tony.
People do always ask how they can do things themselves to save money, right? What we want to try to do today is give people the tools or at least some kind of different strategies to help them with that. I think the first thing, Nicole, and if you haven't seen this as a theme or this topic come up all the time, let's talk about my Google business profile.
Yes, the Google business profile, which we do talk about, I think, a lot because it's free and
We do.
because it does
Yeah.
so much for your business. It's a very powerful tool for you to show up where people are searching for you. So setting up your Google business profile, which is free to do, there's no cost there. That means filling out all your information, waiting for it to verify, then uploading photos, your services, updating your business hours, your phone number, email, your website, like all that's connected there. You then show up on Google Maps. So it's a really great tool. In addition to that, people leave reviews there. I know when I'm searching for a service-based business, I'm going to Google and I'm going to the reviews. What are people saying about this business? Let me see if other people would recommend them. I know a lot of other people are doing that as well. And so it's really important that when you have a business, you have a Google business page.
So if you guys don't know what we're talking about, is if you ever search for a business, there's what they call map pack, right? Where you're going to get the local business. Sometimes you get an ad right first or ads first, depending on what you're searching. But the next section is going to be from where you are located. Here are the businesses near me type thing. What you're doing is you want to make sure that, your profile, if you don't have one, number one, claim it, right? If you don't have it, or if it doesn't actually show up, you want to create one. It's free, like Nicole said. But more importantly, as far as optimizing it, you want to make sure that everything is filled out. That's how you optimize your Google business profile. And again, just answer every single question, that you can. So right now we're on a zero budget. And if we do that right, you should start to get more traffic with that. Now, the flip side of that, let's just say you're not techie or you're too busy to want to fill this out. Most marketing companies will charge you anywhere between $250 to $500 one-time fee. Okay. But what you do want to do with Google Business Profile is you do want to post at least twice a week to keep it active. Right. But if you do that on your own, other than 30 minutes to an hour, maybe setting everything up as far as all the information, creating a post, right, might take you two posts, 30 minutes tops, right? To have 2 or 3 posts a week that you can post on that. Cost is free, right? Why you do it, it's going to enhance your local visibility and credibility, and it will definitely have a huge impact on your business. You'll start to get more leads and you'll start to rank in the Google Map Pack. All right. So let's go to tip number 2, engage in content marketing.
Content marketing cost could be minimal. There might be a little bit of cost
Absolutely.
associated. There's a lot of time investment depending on how you create your
Yeah.
content.
That's where that
really,
all happens.
yeah, I think that's why a lot of people end up outsourcing. In the beginning, you have some time and then it gets tricky. So then sometimes you're looking to create content in other ways. And when you're starting out, you can do it. And then you're looking at, can I get my clients to maybe create some content with reviews and things like that? And that's getting into strategy. We won't dive into that in this episode. Why do we do it? Because it builds authority and it improves your organic search rankings. So when people are searching for you, it helps you be visible. And then how do we do this?
So it's you creating a WordPress blog and you're actually talking about topics or common questions that people have, right? The other common thing that, you can do is you can actually comment on other people's blogs and leave comments. And what that does is, because there's a lot of other popular blogs that people already follow, and if you could add value into their blog, so that's why it's time consuming, because there's a lot of people on social media, but they're not known. So one of the things is spending time like on a Facebook and responding to a lot of posts and helping others. And then people start to say, hey, who is that person? And then they look you up and they start following you and they start tagging out of your post. Maybe they subscribe, right? So it is a time consuming process. But yes, it builds your authority and it will include that. The goal that we always tell people, if you're going to engage in any kind of content marketing, is just to try to post, 2 posts a month. You know what I mean? That's step number 2. Again, it doesn't cost a ton of money, but you will spend a ton of time doing a lot. It's a lot of work. So a lot of people don't start there. But again, if you love writing and sharing information and you're a lot about your topic, go for it. So that's tip number 2.
It does touch a little bit on the leveraging social media marketing.
It does. Yeah, absolutely.
They do go hand in hand. And with the social media marketing, that again, it's free. There's no cost in regards to having these platforms, setting that up. The content, again, you're creating it like we just talked about. There are free tools and resources you can use as well. Canva's a popular one for creating some content there. There's CapCut, which is a really popular one right now for video. And you can even use scheduling tools. There are some free ones too to schedule this content so that you're not standing on your phone or desktop having to post it, but leveraging that social media marketing so that, again, you're showing up organically. People can find you. Where's your audience active? Is it Facebook? Is it Instagram? Is it TikTok? That's the platform you want to be investing your time and resources in, because that's where they're going to be. That's where they're going to see your content. Why do we do it? Because it's where people are going to be. It creates that trust factor of this business is real. I see them all the time. They're in my community. I can see them coming up on my social media. And then people can engage with your business there. They can chat with you. With the posting on these social media, you want to do at least 2 to 3 times a week is like the minimum we suggest usually, just so that the content is being consistent and you're getting that exposure.
A lot of people do is they hear, oh, I got to post 5 times a week. And then 5 times turns into 20 posts, right? And then they get all this information. Just start with one. If you're able to just do one a week, it's one more than what you're doing now. But more importantly, start with one, get your message out there. And again, you want to try to be seen. Yeah, definitely. It's a free tool. You have already people that follow you as friends and things like that. So if you're not trying to sell them anything and you're just trying to give them tips, it's a lot easier to create an audience in a local market. So yeah, definitely utilize that. Now, and that's tip 3. And again, not really much money spent so far.
So let's invest in some local SEO.
So again, like if you're doing it yourself, it's going to be time. If you're going to hire out on a company, it could be anywhere from $500 a month to anything over $1,000 a month. A lot of it depends on how many pages they're creating on a month-to-month basis. If you have a basic website, it's an ongoing thing. So there's a lot of different aspects of SEO. There's the technical side. Then there's obviously the on-page SEO. And then there's the off-page SEO. We have packages that start at $500. That's pretty normal in the industry. But if you're doing it yourself, there's a lot of content to learn, you know what I mean, and read up all about it. But the whole idea is it optimizes your site for local keywords. And some of the other things that you can do too is make sure on local directories, all your information. So everything with Google is, if the information is correct, I have a better chance of trusting you. These are like little quick things that you can do just to get some very basic SEO or basic foundation down, right? And even if you subscribe to some of the basic directory services that, ensures that all your information is there, you're spending $60 a month or whatever. It's not a long-term thing, but you do it for 3 to 6 months. You get all the information up to date and you can pull a plug on that. It's not too bad. I've even seen people do it manually where they'll make a list of all the directors and they'll manually go in there one by one and make sure all their information matches to all the other directories. So that's another free way of doing it. So yeah, so definitely spend some time on your local SEO and invest in that. Now we're going to go to tip number 5.
Yeah, which is utilizing your email marketing. So email marketing, we mentioned this before and probably will mention it many times.
Yeah.
Email is not dead.
Definitely not dead.
So with your email marketing, there's a little bit of investment as far as software. Being able to maintain that direct communication with your audience is what you're trying to do. That's why we do email marketing. You're sending newsletters, updates, promotions. You're talking about new programs you're running. So it's a really easy way for you to continue sharing your services and business with people who already know and trust you. They've already purchased from you, or they subscribed, they want to know more. And so it's important to do that. And that's why we do it. Cost.
Most of these services, because they want to get you in, if you have 100 contacts, 200 contacts, I don't know what the current thing is, like a MailChimp, there's no cost at all. But as your email list grows, then they start to charge you money, right? So again, if you're doing 500 contacts, as an example, MailChimp, it might cost you $30 a month. But it's definitely a way to build followers. The other thing you can do too, depending on your product, you can actually even segment your audiences. So maybe, this specific type of people get this type of email message, and these other people, because they like this kind of stuff, will get this. So there's a lot of cool tools that you can use, and again, it's very inexpensive to do that. It's still very valuable. So definitely, if you're not utilizing that, definitely get a Mailchimp or a new or a Constant Contact or something like that, and start sending out messages to your current customer list. So that was tip number
Yeah.
5.
Yeah. Moving on to tip number 6, which is engaging in your community events and in partnerships, networking, being in your community and engaging in local charities or events, collaborating with other businesses in your industry and cross promoting each other, maybe creating some packages together, attending seminars, right? Getting on stage and talking about your expertise, sharing what you know. So, those are some ways that you can take action and do that. Why do we do it?
Yeah.
Because it increases trust, right? It shows that you know what you're talking about. It's also an awareness thing. People don't know you exist if you're not in the community and promoting yourself. So those are some really great, easy ways for you to be able to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, just like anything else, people buy from people that they know and trust. Always giving back to the community. What you're doing is you're a face. You're a face in that community. They get to know you. So why would I want to go to a stranger and purchase? The cost can vary, absolutely. But I know a lot of people that, will throw an event in their parking lot. It doesn't really cost them anything. And they'll invite other vendors to join in, maybe split some of the initial costs or things like that, but raise money for cancer or things like that, right? But again, the whole idea is community is to help others, right? And again, a lot of times, like even you'll get free publicity from a newspaper, you know what I mean? So it's a good thing. Definitely something that you can get into at a low cost or very little cost. And yeah, definitely look into that if you haven't tried that already.
All right, topic number 7, implementing referral programs. So, why?
Yeah.
It's going to encourage word of mouth marketing. And the most important thing you can do is have people refer your business. If my friend is telling me, hey, this is the roofer you should use, or you should reach out to this person, I'm going to call them first because now I have someone that I know and trust, someone that's in my family that is referring them. So that's like the hard part's already done. I already have the review. I don't have to go to Google and search. I already have this business that's been trusted and used by someone that I respect and know. I'm going to call them. So having a referral program is really great because it builds that awareness by word of mouth. So that's why we do it. Cost for that, very low.
I'll share a little story. There's a pretty prominent business that I'm good friends with, and they would spend a lot of money on marketing, newspaper, radio ads, obviously digital marketing, things like that. And, what they did, it was they went in and they actually did a market analysis as far as where all their customers are coming from. And what they found was that almost 90% of their customers came in on referral, right? So what they were able to do is they stopped radio, they stopped all this spending all this extra money on marketing, and they just improved on their referral program and incentivized a lot of their customers to refer them. They do a little bit of marketing now, right? Because obviously you got to stay out there, but their bulk of their business is all about referrals, right? It is such an important key. And again, like right, doing market analysis, knowing where your customers coming from. We talked about digital marketing and plumbing and things like that, right? So knowing where your customers are coming from, but there's people that have built their businesses just on that, right? So don't overlook the referral program because it doesn't cost you anything. You know what I mean? It costs you something because maybe what you're doing is if you refer somebody, you're going to give them something back or some kind of discount or something like that, depending on what your industry is. But if you appreciate and understand what it costs to get a new customer, it actually might be cheaper to actually give them $100 or buy them dinner or something like that, just to say thank you. So, yeah, please don't overlook that.
All right, now we're going to spend a pretty good amount here. Let's talk about pay-per-click advertising.
The idea is that, let's just say you guys are posting, you guys are doing your blog posts, which costs time and effort, right? The only way to really amplify, or when I say amplify, get more eyes on those posts is by spending some money on advertising, running your Facebook ads, running your Google ads, right? You want more eyes, right? So again, and you don't have to spend thousands and thousands of dollars. If you're a bigger business, you do. But what you want to try to do is try to get as many eyes as possible. So maybe you don't have a big following and You look at your stats and you are only getting maybe 10 to 15 views. But let's just say you throw $50 to boost that post, or you throw $100 a month on specific keywords that, may drive business. And what you slowly start to see is that, hey, you know what, I've had 32 people come to my site now because I was able to boost that. And those 32 turned into a sale. Again, it's like one of those things where the shop's open, but the lights are off. We're not asking you guys to break the bank, but it is a way to, reach more people, reach the right people in your community, almost like a big billboard, right? You drive by it all the time. You're on social media, you see it all the time. You're on Google, you see your name all the time. So when you're ready to buy, you're there, and you don't have to spend a ton of money to get in front of people. So that's my 2 cents when it comes to Google. There's a lot more, but that's just very basic strategies to get more eyes on your business, to get more eyes on you and your content.
And there's other advertising that you can do, this being the better as far as low cost. And that's why we're talking about pay per click.
Yeah.
There's a lot of other types of paid ads you can do, but for the person looking for like working within their budget, you're going to want to stick with this particular type.
Yeah.
And it's really when you've exhausted some of the organic reach, you have your Google business page, right? You're getting the referrals and you're trying to just really just bump that up and get more awareness and have people like really know, you're really going to want to start doing some ads. And this is a great way to really, like, you're paying when they click on it. So this is a great way to get started with some.
The other thing I want to add too is that, going back to, do I have to post all the time? So if you create the right kind of content once and you run your ads, and let's just say it's engaging, right? And you're spending money on that, you can run that same ad. If it's working, it's working, right? So that's the nice thing. And right, you don't have to create any new content. Now, if you're getting low engagement or if it's not working, then you want to keep creating content until you find like your winners, right? And we have testing strategies as far as how we know which ones are working or not working. If something's working, just keep throwing more money at it. You don't have to go try to come up with some new content just because I feel like I have to post every day. That's the wrong way of thinking. You have your base amount of content that you throw out there, but once you find your winners, you just keep adding money to those and let it go, because the whole idea is it's out there. People are looking at it. People are going to your site because of it. They know who you are. They start to make sales. They start to tell their friends. So it's, yeah, absolutely. Right. Now, the other thing I want to forewarn you guys about is, because again, there are a lot of marketing companies out there. They'll say you can't run Google ads or you can't run Facebook ads, and you have to spend at least $1,000 a month, or 15 or $2,000 a month. And again, I'm not saying that they're wrong. Well, I guess what I'm saying is that different goals, different strategies, right? And we've been very successful with a lot of our clients, by the way, spending minimal amounts because of the target and the audience that we're after, right? We're not talking about national audiences. We're talking about a local backyard audience in a lot of cases, or different communities. But just be careful of some of these bigger companies trying to get you to spend a ton of money. And you can be reasonable with your budget and still get a good effect on it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was it on that one.
All right. So, ninth strategy. Let's talk about sharing content.
Obviously, the whole idea is you want to increase engagement. You want to get more of your face out there, more of your personal brand. So just share it with your friends, like share content with your friends, share it with other businesses. It doesn't cost you anything. You already have, mostly already have your phone on your hip like all the time. You're actually all the time. So just shoot a video, hit record, and just put it out there. Share it with your friends and see what they say about it. Get some feedback. So don't be afraid. But tip number 9 is just share content. That's it. Go on other people's sites, just share it. Hey, let's talk. Yeah, definitely do that. So it's pretty straightforward and easy to do.
All right. And now strategy number 10, we've come towards the end, is going to be monitor and analyze your marketing efforts. Because if you're not looking at the data, you don't know what's going on. Like, how can you see what's working and what's not if you're not looking at the numbers?
Listen, Google Analytics is free, and it's going to tell you website traffic, right? What people are doing or not doing on your site. It also lets you know that your social media, or you can go on your social media, get statistics from Facebook and Instagram as well. And on Google Analytics will also tell you, because of your social media, here's how many people actually came from social media over to your site, right? And if you are actually spending money on ads and things like that, you can get those statistics too. So I spent 200 and I drove X amount of people to the site, right? And because of that, I got X amount of leads. So again, it's a full system here. You don't want to keep spending recklessly, But believe it or not, most of the stuff that we talked about really didn't cost any money, right? And again, all in. If even if you're doing ads and things like that, you can see how you can stay well below a $500 budget, but it just takes more work. And then some of you may ask, like, why do if you can do that, why do I need a social media company? Or a marketing company to do that stuff. It's because you don't have the time to. You don't have the skills,
Mhm.
you know what I mean, and things like that. But ultimately, even with the clients that we work with, right, we always encourage them. The content has to come from you. You're the face. You're the voice. You know this better than we do. What we're here for is to implement the process to make sure of those videos or whatever turn into your blog posts. They get posted and create all these short form videos that get posted on all your social medias and things like that. Because if you focus on just creating content and we focus on editing and posting and creating the blogs and putting it on your website, you're free to create more content. So that's where you need some of these social media companies, so companies like us to do some of those things. Because if I just focus on the content part of it,
Yeah.
it's easy. I can create content all day. It's just having conversations with people. It's
Just
toss of the
pull it
day.
out.
Yeah, yeah. But again, if you don't have that, guess what? You're the one that's going to have to do the editing. You're going to have to do the writing. You know what I mean? But there's again, like, as you've seen, there's so many tools, ChatGPTs of the world, and things like that that don't cost $0 or very little dollars to help you save some time. What are we month wise? What are we spending?
We're in that $500 a month range,
We are,
right?
right? Yeah.
We're right there as far as allocating our funds, like within that $500.
Yeah.
We talked about a big chunk of that going to SEO, pay per click being, I think, the two biggest, but they're also,
Yeah.
as far as what's really going to help your business grow, those are the ones. As far as where you're putting your money, those
Yeah.
would be the ones that.
The other thing that, again, and I know this from experience. So if you were going to do all of those things yourself, let's just say you were the one that was going to create the videos, you were going to edit it, you were going to post it, you're going to create all the content, right? You're the one
Schedule that
also that's
out.
going to be scheduling it out. You're going to be also the one that's going to go to the network companies. Listen, you'll spend 20 to 30 hours a week doing all those things, right? So again, you can't do all of it. So what you want to do is try to do the things that you can do. It takes time. All right. So utilizing these tools and things like that will obviously cut your time in half, hopefully. But again, that's a trade-off, by the way, right? So it's time for money. So when you don't have a budget or extra money of income, you spend more time doing those things. But we teach people all the time. There's a lot of people that we teach them how to do all these things, right? Because they have time, but not the money. And we help them and we guide them and we point them in the right direction and we teach them how to do these things on themselves. And once they get to a point where, their business is busy and money is coming in, a lot of clients will now say, hire us to handle some of that other stuff at the same time. Or what we've seen too with other companies is they actually hire an in-house person that we train and we teach and we get that person up and running. And then they have somebody that's actually doing it internally. And that's a win-win for everyone. It's definitely one of those things where, if you talk to some of the bigger marketing companies, they won't even talk to you. Because they're not going to make any money doing this, right? Charging $1,000 or $1,500, believe it or not. They're not going to waste your time. We have a little bit of a different strategy. That's why we make videos like this to try to help you guys out and give you guys different ways of looking at things and getting your business out there and known. I hope it helps.
These are, again, the top 10 strategies to market your business on a budget. So we're putting it in your hands. A lot of this, like Tony's saying, is your time. And then you have to ask yourself, like, where should I invest my time? Would I rather spend the money to have someone else do a lot of this for me, like the email marketing, the posting the content, the strategy behind all of that? You could easily do that. We could do that. You could pay someone to do that, or you could do it yourself to save some of those dollars up front and just invest your time. So these are the top 10 areas that you can really sit down and go, okay, do I want to do this? Is free. Let me take the next 3 hours and just get this done. Or, you know what, my time's more valuable. I'd rather pay someone and do something else.
Yeah.
So those are some really great ways you can get started and
Up
not
to
have
you.
to spend a ton of money initially. Yeah, depending
Yep.
on where you're at
Yeah,
with your
totally.
business.
Yep, totally up to you. And that's the beauty of it, right? So you can decide, but you do something, right? So you can't just sit back and absolutely do nothing and expect your business to change. And that's the thing. So it's like one of those things where just take your first step, right? Start with your Google business profile if you haven't already. Fill out the thing and just go through this checklist that we provided and little by little, do something else.
Make sure you leave a comment below if you have any questions, or if any of these have worked for you or not. Make sure you share your knowledge so that other people can also learn, because we grow together. Thanks, and we'll see you next week.
Absolutely. Peace.